This is your Barbados Today Morning News Update for Monday, September 6. Barbados recorded another major spike in COVID-19 cases at the weekend. 101 new positive infections were confirmed by the Barbados Santos Public Health Laboratory from the 2,827 tests conducted on Saturday. The patients include 72 persons who are 18 years old and over and 26 under the age of 18. The ages of 3 persons are unknown. 506 people are now in isolation. Overall, there have been 5,349 confirmed cases of COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic in March 2020. The virus has claimed 51 lives. Public health officials have administered 115,060 first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine as part of the National Vaccination Program. 95,351 people have been given second doses and are therefore fully vaccinated. This represents 35.2% of the population. In just a few hours, Class 4 students will get their long-awaited Common Entrance results. Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, Santia Bradshaw, will host a virtual press conference today to announce the results of this year's Barbados Secondary School Entrance Examination. In other news, the chairman of the Alliance Owners of Public Transport, Roy Raphael, has defended his organization's handling of a positive confirmed COVID-19 case involving one PSV driver. Late Friday, the organization urged members of the public who came in contact with the driver who had taken ill on August 30 while plying the Silver Sands route to get tested.
The association is not reckless. Obviously, the Ministry of Health would have contacted us for the concern of the passengers, right? At which we would have taken guidance from the Ministry of Health, and they would have instructed us after exactly what went down. We were making an appeal to the passengers. Obviously, we were told that the drivers did seek medical attention, and he was diagnosed with COVID. Our concern basically was for those persons who would have boarded ZR85. Whole and behold, this voice note, we don't know if it's the driver of ZR85 or if it's a person who acted on his behalf, but the information circulating have created some pain and they have also created some embarrassment for the association.
However, a voice note which has been making rounds on social media has refuted the claim. Raphael added that his organization is focused on ensuring the safety of commuters on the road. He told Barbados Today the association has forwarded a proposal to government to employ at least 20 COVID-19 monitors to ensure there is full compliance with the protocols on the road.
The proposal was sent to the Ministry of Finance for us to employ closely to 20 PSV COVID-19 operators who will basically work within the vicinity of the terminal bus stop to ensure people comply. We will have discussions with the Prime Minister's office and the relevant authority over time. We are still awaiting the approval for that to go to Cabinet in order for Cabinet to approve it. But we are saying having the 20 additional COVID-19 monitors out there working with the association can bring some level of comfort.
The president of the Barbados Youth Development Council, Roshana Trim, wants to see more action to tackle crime, and she's not convinced that the newly launched anti-violence campaign is well placed to do so.
There is a loud accusation that is common in a lot of what we are receiving, which is that the rollout and the unveiling of the bus stop in many ways is tone deaf, and it does not respond to the needs of young people at this time. And it begs the question, if young people are so outraged or the backlash is so great from an initiative that is focused at young people in order to respond to a challenge that they're disproportionately affected by, have we truly engaged young people in a way that matters and that is genuine? And while we are not fully aware of what the extent of the project is, anti-violence campaigns have always been attacked as not truly responding to the root causes of gang violence as well as gun crime.
Instead, the BYDC president is suggesting government should focus on the root causes of gang violence and gun crimes.
And we can talk about the root causes: poverty, a lack of job opportunities. Young people, particularly during COVID, perhaps I should say even more so during COVID, are now disproportionately affected by unemployment. We can also discuss the education system and the feeling that it is outdated, needs to be updated, and that too many young people are falling through the cracks of an education system that no longer caters to the 21st century young person. A need for training and greater promotion of training opportunities for young people who are no longer in schools. And additionally, a greater focus, and this has been called for organizations like Let's Unpack It, that says that we need to focus on mental health and well-being in order to protect and preserve the prosperity of our nation, as well as to allow young people to thrive. And so one of the concerns is really, what will the impact of these things be? And how can we roll out an anti-violence campaign that is not supported by young people?
In other news this Monday, there will be a limited return of in-person classes for the new academic year at the University of the West Indies Caveville campus. Addressing students during the virtual matriculation ceremony, Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Clive Landis said the university will strictly control the numbers on campus.
Just as we are hosting this annual matriculation ceremony in a virtual setting, for a second straight year, our teaching, alas, based on the developments over the last week, will also have to be predominantly online. Only a small number of in-person instruction can take place in a strictly controlled setting. However, we have been concerned by the loss of in-person skills among our students. Our recent online experience has shown that the teaching of clinical skills in the medical sciences, lab instruction in science and technology, and sport, as well as teaching the proper execution of movement and skills in the creative and performing arts, all require some measure of face-to-face instruction. To do anything less would not be in keeping with sound pedagogical practice. And so we are heeding the calls of many students to plan for a very limited return to the classroom in select disciplines.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, in Jamaica, residents are being given the option of paying for vaccines. The new initiative was launched on the weekend in Western Jamaica. It could see residents forking out as much as 1,000 Jamaica dollars for the COVID-19 jab. More in this report from TVJ News.
It's a vaccination drive with a twist. For $9, tourism workers and their families can get AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines.
This is a private initiative, and as such, there is a cost to it. But most of our member hotels have agreed to pay for the vaccinations for our staff. I believe it's part of the vaccines that have come in through the government, and the government has made them available. I think where the cost comes in is administering of the vaccine, because I believe it's private nurses and doctors and so forth, and it's a private initiative, so there are costs associated. So based on that, we thought it was a fair price to pay for the convenience.
On the international front, top infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci says Pfizer is on track for U.S. vaccine boosters, But the Moderna booster could take a little longer to receive a regulatory go-ahead. More in this report from Reuters TV.
In some respects, it is. We were hoping that we would get both the candidates, both products, Moderna and Pfizer, rolled out by the week of the 20th. It is conceivable that we will only have one of them out, but the other will likely follow soon thereafter. And the reason for that is that we, as we've said right from the very beginning, we're not going to do anything unless it gets the appropriate FDA regulatory approval and then the recommendation from the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. Looks like Pfizer has their data in, likely would meet the deadline. We hope that Moderna would also be able to do it so we could do it simultaneously, but if not, we'll do it sequentially. So the bottom line is very likely at least part of the plan will be implemented, but ultimately the entire plan will be.
That's news, but for the very latest, you can visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.